Yep.
Always doing yard work, always finding something to do. And
I'm sure you had the best looking yard in the whole neighborhood.
I definitely did. Did.
Wow.
You know, I'm not even at the gym at this point, and the biggest thing is like everything I always loved to do, I just wasn't doing anymore.
Yeah. Well, because you couldn't physically, or you just.
No, I was cleared to start going back.
Okay.
And I just
mentally you
said,
weren't able to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to be alone. And that was just sitting here. Everything I liked to do before, I just didn't do.
Yeah.
Going out, lifting, being around people, just literally for a year and a half or so, like I just sat alone.
And I'm sure, like in the police force, you like that's almost a requirement is to go to curricular activities and stuff like that. So for you to not be able to do that, it's just a stress on your work environment.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we always did stuff after work and stuff before, and I just stopped doing it. I always had an excuse, some kind of excuse, like, hey, I can't make it today, or I can't do this. And it was just an excuse, and at the time, it all made sense and, became normal to me.
And
just make up an excuse to find out how to be alone.
And did people start noticing your excuses were like...
Yeah. How long did it take before people were like,
yeah,
okay, come on, snap out of this?
Yep.
I as much as I want to say, like, maybe people noticed, they just didn't really say anything, or they didn't know how to approach it.
Okay.
Sure.
Later on, I had people saying that, like, hey, the dude just got shot. He almost died. Like, he just got to work some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
sure.
And, like, it's not anyone else's responsibility to, like, your friends and stuff like that, like, to call you out.
No,
their responsibility is more to have your back.
Yes. Yep.
So can I ask you a question? So when you said it was about a year and a half, right, that you kind of were stuck in this. So what changed? What happened? How did you come out of that? And
well, it was a multitude of things. I really started drinking heavily.
Yeah.
The last couple of months, I slowly started to go to the gym and different things and force myself to work out again. I was forcing myself to go out again, but this time, every time I went out, I was just getting completely annihilated.
Yeah.
And things just started, it was almost like my therapist, at this point I started going to therapists slowly, but later on she said, your mind's kind of like a pitcher of water. The more you try to push away, it's going to start to slowly overflow. You can't put cups of water in a pitcher, eventually it's going to overflow. And I think over time and just pushing everything away, there was just too much to push away, and eventually it just started to slowly leak out, and I really had to start trying to push it away with alcohol, and that obviously didn't help.
Yep. That's not a good place to be at. I've kind of been there before at certain times in my life, and it's amazing, like, how easy it is to snap out of that, but how hard it seems at the time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely true.
So a slow approach.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's where it just over time, and then, people did start pointing stuff out a little bit, specifically the girl I was dating at the time, like, started pointing little things out. And it started making me question, like, why am I not going out with people? Why am I not hanging out with her? Why am I not going to the gym? Why is none of this happening? And then it just started like it was forcing me to think about stuff that for the last year and a half I've pushed away from thinking about.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which I do think that's what led to the extremely heavy drinking at that point.
Yeah, so you're just, were you going to work at that point?
I was still working, yes.
Okay. And so you would just come home and drink, or what?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd come home and drink more, and then on the weekends when I could, I'd go out, and that's when I would drink a lot more.
Yeah.
That's when I'd be out. And again, a lot of the people I hung out with were people I worked with, so it was this whole time I'm trying to avoid all these people, which I learned later was because you're trying to avoid an incident you don't want to think about. So
right.
How do you hang out with the same people? You go to the same place you work every day and have to remind yourself of the triggers of, this incident when you're mentally trying to block it out.
Yeah. That's super hard. And I was saying before this podcast that I think I'm an empath. I have some empathetic feelings towards.
I think he does too.
Yeah, towards the people that we interview and stuff like that. I find myself thinking about them for a week straight.
It's like he takes it on.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've told him, I'm like, dude, that's not healthy.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to be empathic and be empathetic with people, but like, you can't take their stuff on, man.
Yeah.
That weighs you down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I first started like the Facebook and Instagram and all that, I found myself that at first it was helpful, but then it was like overbearing because now I'm taking on all these other people's problems and stuff they've been through.
Yeah.
And I had to back away a while because I said, you know what, maybe you're not totally mentally over your own stuff yet. Should you really be getting too involved in other people's stuff? And I did take
that might be where I am. Like, I'm not 100% over my brain injury and other incidents that I have had in my life. It's just.
But he's working on it.
Yeah.
He's working on it.
Yep.
Yeah, this is, I think, a great way to do it. But I also, I just knew for me, I needed to step back and continue on me because I could feel it overwhelming me when I first started my social medias and stuff like that.
Right.
You're right. It does. You take on a lot of other people's stuff that maybe I wasn't ready for at the time.
Yeah.
Now I do feel like I am.
And I think that. I think that people that have been through a traumatic situation tend to be more empathetic to other people that have been through similar incidents.
For sure.
Absolutely. I agree. I think I am way better of a person, I'd say, than I was before my shooting.
Yeah.
I understand people better. I get it.
Yeah.
Before that, good.
Nothing, huh? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, before my incident, I never believed in PTSD or mental health. I didn't think it mattered. We just move on in life with what we deal with.
Yeah.
Now I understand, man.
There's actual symptoms.
Yeah.
Like, you actually have, It's totally different when you're dealing with that than compared to just hearing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yep. And I always tell people this, and maybe you can agree somewhat on it, is that I don't want people to understand 100% what I went through, because if they understand it, that means they've been through something very traumatic also.
Yeah.
I just want people to know it exists. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to do. All my stuff, it does exist, so be careful when you're dealing with people or understanding people.
Yeah. Sure. Like, almost a warning to people that people have gone through some serious shit, and you never know what a certain person has gone through until you get to know them. So I try not to judge people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, there is a certain level of judging that you do, because I bring this up because I have kids, I have daughters, right? And there's a certain level of I got to fill out people's vibes. And if I get a weird vibe, dude, I'm sorry. I'm judging them, and I'm saying, you're staying away.
Yes.
Right? I got to keep my distance. You're not going to be around my kids.
But you know what I mean? That is almost a healthy way.
Sure.
Yeah, to judge
it's more
people.
Of a protection, not a just judging because you're a bad person because you do this and this and this, and I don't do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not like that kind of judgment. But you got to protect yourself.
Yep.
And you do that by making a judgment call.
Yeah.
Right. But in terms of,
you're right.
Yeah. In terms of people having going through traumatic things, and dealing with stuff, we have no clue.
Yeah.
Like Shane said, we have no clue what people are going through.
No idea.
And sometimes people just want to share their story.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just need to talk.
Yep.
You know, because they may be in a place that you were in, Tony, where you're like, you were in a place where people are like, oh, well, we got to give them time, you know, all that kind of stuff. Maybe somebody just needs to say, hey, what are you going through, man?
Be there to listen and not say anything.
Yeah, a good ear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I do think that if somebody would have been able to come out and say, here's the issue, look what you're doing, and this is what you used to be like, instead of just the basic, hey, go see a therapist. No, we don't need therapists. We're men. We don't do we're cops. We're, type A personalities.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, you got to be careful who you're dealing with too, I guess, in those situations and how you approach it, I guess.
Yeah, well,
sure.
I don't know. It gets to a certain point though, that you just got to look out for number one, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us how you...
Absolutely.
What was that?
Go ahead. I was just saying absolutely.
Oh, absolutely. Awesome. That's great. So tell us a little bit about how you, like, what was kind of the process of you changing? You said it was slow. You moved through everything.
You started to realize you had PTSD and you at first thought it was fake. So
what was that like for you when you really did start to dig deep?
Yeah.
And what was that like?
Mm-hmm.
It definitely took a while because I did therapy was the beginning of it. A therapist was the best thing I ever did, and even when I went to her, I denied it for a good while after I was going to her.
Yeah,
sure.
I always call it breaking the ice, and that's when everything just came out, flowing out, and the bad thoughts started coming out. And now I'm actually facing the true mental health. Now I'm not blocking it out. I'm facing the incidents.
Yeah. Yeah, and
it was hard because I was going to say it was hard because like you said, I didn't believe in mental health. I didn't believe in PTSD. So to me, it was like, I can't have this.
Well, I don't know if I know it exists, but I don't know if I 100% believe the effects of it or whatever, that if you have PTSD, you're gonna have it for your entire life.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
you're saying that like you can experience PTSD symptoms and all that kind of stuff, but you don't think that you have to have it the rest of your life.
Yeah,
because you did experience some.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
Now you feel like you're fine. You can talk about it. You can do all that kind of stuff. It doesn't bring up these overwhelming emotions. You're not having like night terrors. You're not having all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I believe you can overcome things. Now, some people have been through some stuff that really, it like rewired their brain.
Serious shit,
and I get that, and you have to have some type of belief in what they went through. But I do believe that there's a place for people to heal.
Yes.
To where I feel like they could eventually overcome it.
Yeah.
And they don't have to live in that story anymore saying, well, I have PTSD, so I'm going to have it for the rest of my life, so I'm going to have to deal with this stuff. Like, what if you could overcome it?
Yeah.
Just even ask yourself that question. What if I could overcome this and it didn't affect me ever again?
Yep.
Would that be remarkable if it was true? Well, why not go for it?
Yep.
Why not try to make that?
Yeah. Why not try?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I just to chime in on that, I agree with both of you. I agree that I don't think you have to let PTSD control your life forever.
Mm-hmm.
I went from not sleeping, nightmares, flashbacks, suicidal thoughts to I have a huge scar, so it's still there. I think of it sometimes, but I don't have all that with it anymore. There aren't the emotions that come with that. There's not the flashbacks anymore.
Yeah.
It's not that dark feeling you get that you're just sitting here staring at a wall.
Yeah. See, that's great.
And I do agree with the other aspect that maybe some things happen at such a young age to some people that they live 20, 30 years, live in a certain way that I don't know if they can truly
that's their
overcome
new
all
normal.
of it.
Yeah.
Yes. But I do believe that everybody with the right amount of work, the right amount of support can at least control the PTSD and not let it control them completely.
For sure.
Well, that's what
they walk with it.
Yeah, that's what I can't imagine is not having like support from my family